Have you ever noticed certain symbols just popping up again and again in really different places, maybe across cultures, or even like on company logos?
Yeah, it's strange when you start looking.
What if it wasn't just coincidence? What if it was all part of, well, a single language?
That's a pretty compelling idea, isn't it? This notion that icons we think are separate are actually um, connected. Forming what this source we looked at, the Oka Club, calls a global network of ciphers.
Right, coded messages, basically.
Exactly.
So, welcome everyone to our deep dive into worldwide sigils, the language of the game. We're drawing heavily on insights from the OK Club today. And our mission really is to unpack their fascinating idea. This concept that global symbols, from ancient stuff to modern brands, are all interconnected.
And that they point towards what the source calls a divine truth.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. The source argues that someone they term a watcher with a divine eye can actually see these patterns.
Yeah.
And that these patterns reveal the unchanging nature of the game.
And we should probably clarify the game and the pin.
Right. So the game is their term for this hidden system they believe controls reality.
Yeah.
And the pen, that's what they call our world.
Okay, so today we're looking at four main types of these sigils and how the OK Club thinks they're basically stitched into everything around us.
Yeah, let's dig in.
So this core idea, the OK Club isn't seeing separate pictures. It's one big global network branding the whole pen, the world, and revealing this game.
Mm-hmm.
Where do they start? What's like the first symbol in this hidden language?
Well, the first one, and they say the most important, is the symbol of the Trinity, the number 3.
Oh, great. Okay.
They present it as alpha, beta, and omega, like the mark of divine order. Their view is it represents the actual structure of the divine or maybe the fundamental rules of the game.
And the Oak Club gives real-world examples, doesn't it? Where do they claim we can actually see this divine order?
Oh, definitely. A big one they point to is the fleur-de-lis, the French royal symbol. They read it as a literal diagram, 3 parts bound together as one. They also mention the 3 stars on the Washington, D.C. flag.
Implying its allegiance, sort of.
That seems to be the implication, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there are the 3 balls of the pawnbroker sign. The Oak Club actually calls this a profane symbol, their word representing the game's business model.
So, like, how the elite supposedly understand and use this trinity?
Kind of, yeah. How they master it. The idea is this symbol is just everywhere, subtly marking the ringmaster's awareness of this order.
Okay, that makes sense within their framework. So that brings us to number 2, the symbol of the duality 2. How does the OK Club describe this one?
This one represents the game in motion, like the conflict or tension between 2 great monarchs.
Monarchs? Who do they mean?
Well, they point to symbols like the lion and the unicorn on the UK royal coat of arms.
Okay.
They interpret those as avatars for Beta, the sun, and Alpha, the moon. This duality, this tension, they say it's also all over the place in colors.
Like red and blue.
Exactly. Red and blue. Think about flags, USA, UK, France, even the Pepsi logo, they say, representing solar and lunar principles.
Huh. And the black and white. Like a chessboard.
Yeah, the ultimate binary, right. The Masonic chessboard floor is another key example they use. For the OK Club, these aren't just design choices. They're symbols of the core conflict driving the game.
Got it. Okay, so 3 was trinity, 2 was duality. What's 1?
1 is the symbol of the monarch's eye.
Yeah.
This is the sigil of what they call the final boss, the singular, all-seeing watcher overseeing the whole game.
The all-seeing eye concept?
Pretty much. And they argue it's ancient but keeps reappearing. Think of the Egyptian Eye of Horus or Ra. They see that as a diagram of this monarch's eye.
Okay.
They also bring up the pine cone at the Vatican Fontana della Pina.
As a symbol for the pineal gland, the third eye.
Exactly. And then, of course, the really famous one, the Masonic all-seeing eye on the pyramid. The source argues these all convey this idea of constant single-point surveillance.
Okay, there's one more main category. The symbol of the pen, the container itself.
Right. This represents the actual containment of the world, what the Oak Club calls the prison or the zoo.
The zoo itself, what symbols represent that?
They highlight the horseshoe shape or the Greek letter omega. The Oak Club actually describes this as the literal shape of a great ice wall they believe surrounds us.
Wow, okay. Where do they see that shape?
In the layout of the Royal Albert Hall in London, for instance, or the laurel wreath around the UN emblem.
Huh. I see the ship now you mention it.
And also the arch. They see it as symbolizing the dome over the world. You see it in architecture like the Pantheon, St. Paul's Cathedral,
Okay, McDonald's.
and even, yes, the Golden Arches of McDonald's, according to the source.
So, tying it all together, what's the big picture here, according to the OCO Club? What does this all mean for us, living inside the PIM?
Well, in their view, all these symbols, the Trinity, the duality, the eye, the container, they're like the wallpaper of the penitentiary. That's the phrase they use.
Wallpaper of the penitentiary.
Yeah. A constant subliminal broadcast from the ringmasters,
Yeah.
their term for the controllers of the game. What's really interesting is the distinction they make.
Okay.
To pawns, which is how they refer to most people, us, these symbols are just harmless decorations. You don't even notice them consciously most of the time.
Right.
But to the watcher, someone who understands this language, they're presented as the bars of the cage. It's a really specific and, I guess, pretty stark interpretation of symbols we see every day.
Definitely a stark interpretation. So this deep dive really lays out a very particular way of seeing familiar symbols, suggesting they're part of this hidden structure, this game.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe something for you to think about as you go about your day. How might this perspective change how you see the symbols around you? Will you start noticing them more, seeing them just as decoration, or maybe start wondering if they're part of a bigger hidden language?
It definitely raises a question, doesn't it? Can we ever really see past the wallpaper of our world?